throat is on fire, bitch. Like, my shit is so sore and so dry. It feel like I've been sucking dick for truck fit. Like, I know funny. When I was younger, I used to like hope that I was sick so that I could like not go to school sometimes. But when you're older and you get sick, you be like, damn, I got. Like, you just feel like, what the hell? Like, you know? And I guess it's because, being older just comes with so many more responsibilities and stuff like that that you just want to take care of. It's like you don't really want to have off days, or, you want to have off days at your whim. You don't want to just get got and then be like, dang, like, I can't do what I intended to do. But, yeah, I just wanted to show you guys what I look like before I actually get ready. I'm about to hop in the shower. It's like 8 in the morning. It's an overcast day. It's the middle of October. And I'm just gonna get ready and stuff like that. So I'll be back and we're gonna do my makeup and we're gonna have a chat, bitch. We're gonna have a real chat about what's the tea in Sade's life, because there's a lot to spill. And I've been meaning to give y'all, some conversational content, but this is not even conversational. Like, this is like really like what's been going on, like what my life has been for the past couple months that you guys have not really known. And a lot of you guys have inquired about like what's been going on with me. Well, you about to know. So I'll be back after this shower. So I am back out the shower, clean, fresh faced, everything and whatnot, and ready to just kind of update you guys on what has been going on. Sorry for already like starting on my face and stuff like that, but this isn't really like a chit chat get ready with me with the production of like, what goes into that. This is really just like a chit chat and get ready with me. But so a lot of you guys have inquired about like what's been going on with me, like why haven't I been not even so much consistent, but my content doesn't seem like, I don't even want to say not relatable, because it's just me talking about hair, but it just doesn't seem as me as before. And I feel like I just jumped right into this, but if you guys rock with me, it's all right. Like, we just gonna hop right into this tea or whatever. But a lot of why I haven't been able to, I guess, be my best self on YouTube is because I don't really feel like myself. And I had mentioned this before. Like, I had mentioned how, in the weed video, I don't remember what the title of the video was, but I was just like, I've been really miserable. And I don't know if I said this in particular, but this can be an additive to what I was saying, is that I just don't feel particularly stimulated by people or anything. I feel very just like bored of like everything. And I know that is like reflective of being depressed. And to me, it's frustrating to even say that I am, because I am so used to being so curious about the world and what's going on in it. But I feel like because of the traumas that I've experienced, especially in my relationship recently, not recently, but recently, and just in life, it's been hard to re-engage myself with people and, really feel my feelings, because everything feels painful, because people don't necessarily move from the best state of mind, Dang, I feel like I'm like, this is like a little too heavy too fast or whatever. Like, I feel like I didn't intersect enough into like why like I'm even talking about this right now. But this is where my mind is at. My mind is very like all over the place. I'm very dissociated and stuff. So I'll like check in and check out of like conversations, and it's so bad. Like, it's so bad recently. So anyways, oh, let me get this 202 brush. Hold on. I want to put out content that is more authentic. I want to put out content that feels more like me and is me. And everything that I do on my platform is me. But, some of these things are sponsored videos. Me talking about hair. Me talking about things that, I would talk about regardless, in the midst of talking about, what's going on with me. Like, how I'm feeling, da-da-da. But I don't have any feelings to really share because I haven't been feeling anything. And then on top of that, I had also mentioned why I felt the way that I felt was because I don't have a routine. And a lot of what I do now is me being in the house, because my work, my full-time job revolves around just being home. And it's like, I am definitely in the process of changing that, especially now that, my car stuff is together. And I know you guys don't know that, but I'm telling you now, like, I was just waiting for my car stuff to get together. And I was like, you know what? I think I want to take up, a job, like, like a a job that's outside of the house. And I know it sounds so crazy because it's just like people go out of their way to say, you know, God, please bless me with the opportunity to be an entrepreneur, to work from home. You know, I don't want to go to work. I don't want to have a 9 to 5. And all I'm thinking about is, oh my gosh, it would be so lovely to have a routine and to, you know, have a reason to wake up at such and such time. And even though I could do that with the job that I have now, like wake up at, you know, maybe 7 and get ready for like 8:30, you know, eat some breakfast, clean up the house, and then start filming and do it like that. It's almost the point of having a job where you work from home is to be able to do it leisurely but do it efficiently, you know. And now I'm in a place where it's like I want to efficiently do something where I get up and I go outside. And I think the reason for that is because I miss interacting with people. I miss being a part of the world and connecting and, you know, getting to know other people and stuff like that. And it's a luxury to be home, but it's like being a queen cooped up in a castle almost, you know? Like you have all these amenities and these comforts that other people want, but you still want more. I feel like Bojack Horseman when I say that. I don't know if any of you guys watch that show, but that show is like fucking amazing. That show is so freaking good. Ooh. Also, I don't know if, because I filmed this like a bunch of times already, so this video is going to be all over the place, but I'm really sick, so if I'm like coughing and yakking and blowing my nose, it's because I'm super sick. I don't know how you sis got, but a bitch got, you know, a bitch got. So, anyways, yeah, I want to put out better content, but the only way for me to put out better content is for me to be in tune, and I'm just not there right now. And I had mentioned in that video, the smoking video, that, you know, I had started going to therapy and stuff like that. I stopped going to therapy because I was so busy, and then I was on vacation for like 3 weeks and stuff like that, so I haven't had an opportunity to really like re-engage in like some much needed therapy, which I'm going to do. And I also realized that I need to be in trauma therapy and not just, you know, regular talk therapy. Like talk therapy is not enough for me because I really have been through like some traumatic stuff that needs to be unetched from my mind, body, and soul. And I know it sounds so corny saying mind, body, and soul, but that's just really where I am. And I don't even know if doing YouTube, because doing YouTube used to be like therapeutic for me, you know, like it's always been easy for me to consult myself and to, you know, say, okay, this makes sense or this doesn't make sense, or to apply or to, you know, take out certain things and to, you know, make corrections to things that I felt unhappy with. And lately I've just been having a hard time with that. And I think a lot of that is attributed to the fact that I was in the relationship that I was in. And even though we weren't in a relationship anymore, there was still like a lot of stuff that was relationship like, and I feel like ultimately there was no growth. Like we were growing, but we were growing separately, and when you grow separately you end up growing apart. And sometimes you and said person can grow together, grow apart and then come back together, but it's really over, like between me and my last partner. And I actually want to talk about that because that's something that's been like on my mind to talk about. And how do I say this? One of the last things that this is probably not the best thing to start with, but I'm just gonna say this. One of the last things that he said to me was like, and now that we're done, like, I don't want you talking about us anywhere on any platform and stuff like that. And I initially had agreed and said, okay, that's fine with me. Like, I don't even think you're worthy of, you know, conversation and stuff. That came out nasty. I didn't mean it like that, but I don't think it's necessary for me to go out of my way to speak about you. And I recant that statement in this very moment, and in the times that I've, you know, had conversations with myself, whether in the shower or sitting on the toilet, where it's like, I feel like we give people who have done things to us too much power over what it is that we can say or not say when we're moving forward. If you hurt me, I have every right to say you are the one that did such and such and such. And it's not a matter of the blame game or anything like that. And it's not a matter of me going out of my way to have you try to be accountable for your actions and stuff like that. It's me just sharing because I just need to get this off of my chest. So anyways, me and the ex-partner are done, and I know that might be confusing for some, because if you saw my Instagram recently, I had put up a video where me and him were very, very much together. And in this last trip where I didn't take the trip, he took the trip to see me, I actually introduced him to my parents. I introduced him to my family. And can you imagine the embarrassment and the hurt that I feel for allowing him to come and meet people that I'm not particularly close with, but I love nonetheless, and for me to have to say, almost a month later, like, oh yeah, like, it didn't work out, like, it's not a thing, when the intention was for us to, ultimately it was for us to see if things could work out with us being in person, but like, I was hopeful, I was hopeful that it was going to work out, and now for it to not work out, it's like, I feel embarrassed and hurt and sad, but ultimately I feel okay and I'm happy with the way that things ended, because even though it ended traumatically and terribly, I feel personally, like, in my heart of hearts, that I needed it to end in that way for me to say, okay, I absolutely know for a fact that this is something that cannot work for me in the future. And that's not something that I have personally said. That's something that I've said in a way, and I feel foolish for even saying it in this way, because it's like, okay, girl, like, you being a hypocrite, like, you going back and forth between your statements of saying, like, oh yeah, I'm done with that nigga, like, it's over and stuff like that, and then going back to him, and it's like, I don't want to be like, oh, this is the last time, but no, it really is, like, what happened, what transpired, which I'm gonna say, it really confirmed for me, like, okay, like, Sade, this is, that, how do I explain this? I don't remember what video I was watching, but there was a video, and it was about married couples, and the married couples were talking about how when you know, like, there's no doubt, like, that you're marrying this person, and that you feel comfortable with, who this person may grow into, even if, you guys might not see eye to eye, like, divorce is not even on the table, because there's so much love, understanding, compassion, patience, grounded into, the respect that you guys have for honoring yourself first, and then honoring the union between both you and said person. And for between me and my ex, it's like there were a lot of missing pieces that on both ends, I could say, just didn't allow the puzzle to fit together quite right. And I feel like at the end of, before all of this happened, I was kind of in a place where it's like, I'm willing to cut a piece of my part of the puzzle to make you fit in a little better, because, at the heart of what he wanted for, the future, I wanted too. But just because you and somebody have the same ideas of what you guys see for yourself in the future doesn't mean that you and that person are meant to be together. Like, you and somebody could say, like, oh, I like the idea of having kids, and that person could say, oh yeah, I love kids, like, I love, kids, I want to have kids of my own. But then when it comes to how you guys want to raise them, it's completely different, and that could be a big issue. And basically, the relationship was kind of like getting to that part, and I was ready and willing to sacrifice, at this part, parts of myself that I truly loved and truly honored, to make him fit in a little bit more. And I'm sure he's done a lot of that for me as well, but I never asked him to. He had always asked me to, and I felt always like this pressure to be more compliant with that, out of my respect of how much effort he would put into, accommodating me and what I wanted, despite how much he would revert back into who he truly was. And hopefully what I'm saying is making sense. I feel like this video is all over the place, but I really hope that this makes sense. And I feel like I haven't said something like that in a long time. Like, I hope what I'm saying makes sense. Like, in my older videos, I always used to say that because I always used to feel like I wasn't making sense. But you feel like you don't make sense when you've been quieted for a long time and you haven't heard yourself speak for a long time. And even though I talk to myself in the shower and I talk to myself when I'm sitting in the toilet or in little quiet private moments, you know, when I just come home and I'm putting down my groceries and I have like little introspective thoughts, it's different when you sit down and, you know, you're bouncing an idea essentially off yourself. Like, if I didn't have a platform, if I didn't have, you know, an audience who is going to tune into this, you know, this would be me sharing information with myself, you know. And I miss this part of me, and I think it's so essential for, you know, me to do this. And I know I just went on a tangent on like this particular thing, but it's like, you know, this is what you guys essentially miss from me. And I miss this girl too, you know. I miss this girl too, and I think she's coming back slowly but surely. But believe me, I'm not gonna rush my process just for some entertaining stuff, you know. I don't need to, I'm not interested in being an entertainer on YouTube. I think some of the content that I have here is entertaining and stuff like that, but I'm not gonna be, you know, dancing like a fucking monkey on a stage to get the views and to get the likes and to get the, you know, the engagement, you know. And my concern for where YouTube has been lately, especially with, you know, people who are engaged in those actions, is just like, again, a stamp on like why I feel the way that I feel. Like, nothing is sacred. Like, YouTube used to be a place where it used to be inspiring and motivating, and now it's just like a bunch of inauthentic foolishness, and I cannot stand stuff like that. I can't stand, like, not even people being inauthentic, which I can't stand, but like just like a foolishness, like the just bare foolishness. I just cannot stand it. But anyways, I feel like I'm just going on a tangent about that or whatever. But anyways, back to like why we broke up. So my ex, he at times could be very reckless, you know, and not just because of like mental stuff, but he would say like really random reckless stuff or pose like hypothetical situations or questions, ask hypothetical questions that to me were very like, why would you ask a question like that? Like, that's a strange thing to ask, or that's a strange thing to say, you know? And I always mistook it for devil's advocate and just for like conversational purposes. But at some point, you know, being contrarian just for sport is frustrating, and I do not intend on, you know, entertaining. I don't entertain people when they do stuff like that, and he likes stuff like that, and I really don't know why. And to me, I feel like this is gonna sound very harsh, but like I feel like that's not very Christ-like or very God-like. And I know I haven't spoken about my relationship with God or, you know, spirituality in a minute, but and I don't talk about it because I'm not as in tune and I don't feel like I have the right to talk about it. But the core of me is, you know, not in tune with that, but believes in the fundamental purposes of why it's not a good idea to do those certain type of things. Also, it's not in my heart to be contrarian for no reason. So, basically, we're watching Game of Thrones, and this is a show that I don't particularly like. No, sorry, I'm not gonna say I don't like it. I like the show. I like Game of Thrones, but I don't like the gore, and I don't like the blood and stuff like that, and the callousness, you know. And even though it's a true description of like what happened in those times, you know, I said in my last video, you know, when I had like a full conversation like this, I said that, you know, at the core of blackness and, you know, the origins of blackness and how we developed as a community, that kind of callousness that is displayed in, you know, that European kind of Slovakian or whatever the fuck, I'm not pronouncing it right, kind of culture is not, we can't relate. You know, that kind of callousness, that kind of like greed, that kind of like anger, that kind of vengefulness. I can't say that in my studies of, you know, blackness, that's something that was, you know, prioritized. A lot of what I spoke about in my black studies classes, you know, when we were talking about early civilized, you know, early civilizations of, you know, indigenous people, black people, we're talking about unity. We're talking about community. We're talking about, you know, how to cultivate something that's, you know, for, you know, your fellow better man. So when I watched this show, I'm like, you know, the storyline is interesting. And, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on, but I can't relate, you know? So his interest in the show made me interested because I loved him so much that it's just like, you know, it's Netflix. Like, well, let's get into a good show. Let's watch something, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Not a big deal. But basically, sorry, I feel like I'm not saying what the actual stuff is. I always take really long to get to my point. But we're watching the show, and he turns to me, and he's like, oh, and this is not verbatim, but it was something like this. Like, oh, like, what if so he has this one friend that's like really like big and plays in the NFL. And he's like, oh, like, which one of your friends do you think could beat up my friend? And stuff like that. Just random. And that's also one thing that I didn't like about our relationship. Like, I like random things, but I don't like random dark things. Like, I like random lighthearted things. So he turns to me and he asks me, like, oh, which one of your friends do you think could beat up my friend? And I'm like, well, you know, that's not something that I particularly think about, but if I had to guess, I said, you know, such and such person. Like, I said, this one friend that I think could do it and stuff like that. And he's like, no, your friend. Like, he just starts getting, like, intense. He's like, oh, your friend could never and stuff like that. Like, do you know how big my friend is? Like, my friend will, like, you know, finish him to a pulp, basically. Like, you know, he didn't say that, but, like, basically, he basically saying that. Like, my friend will earth him. Like, my friend will body him. And I'm just like, this is, why even ask a question like that? You asked me a hypothetical question. I said what I felt. You don't have to agree, but why are you being so, like, serious? He's like, I will pay them right now to fight each other and stuff like that because you're tripping for thinking that they will win. And mind you, this whole time, my energy is mad calm. I'm just like, okay, like, it's not that serious. And I was like, honestly, like, the way that you think is really disgusting. Like, I only entertained this conversation because I thought it was, like, a 1-2 question. And, you know, I thought it was coming from, like, a very, like, you know, devil's advocate kind of jovial place. But now you're going dumb hard as if, like, you're really, like, permeating on the situation. And it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, why are you even thinking about stuff like this? So I say, I'm like, your mind is really disgusting. And I don't think I want to be with someone who thinks like this because that's not reflective of who I am and who I want to be with. You know, like, I have a lot of respect for my fellow man and for my friends without question. So when you ask me a question like that, don't think that I'm gonna side with you, especially for a hypothetical situation that, you know, I know for a fact will never come to light. You know, like, my friend would never engage in a situation like that. Like, you could never get my friend to be in a situation where he's going to, you know, fight for a bribe. Like, he's not no fucking, like, fighter like that, you know? Like, so yeah, that's one thing that happens that, okay, so yeah, I had to put on my lipstick. Yo, lipstick really makes a huge difference on my face. Like, honestly, truly, like, you know. And I know my face is still looking a little bit crazy and stuff like that. Like, my contour is very harsh. I'm just a harsh contour type of girl. Like, love me or hate me, girl. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, that's just who your girl is. But, so yeah, all of that happened. Sorry, I'm, like, trying to take out this bronzing powder. But, he's like, so that happens. A quiet moment happens. And I'm just gonna, like, skip over and get to, like, you know, the meat of some other shit that happens. He, like, some time passes and he's like, oh, I'm sorry, blah, 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 blah. Like, you know, he's, like, apologizing, you know, like, recanting the statement and stuff like that. After I say, like, you know, I don't think this is, like, gonna work, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just there and I'm just quiet because in my head, I'm like, you know, the reason that you even came here was for us to reconcile and for me to really see if we could be together. And this was a true confirmation that, you know, this relationship cannot work. You have not truly changed. As much as, you know, you have shown otherwise that you have changed, you really truly haven't. And I don't think I could be with someone who, you know, is like that. So once he finishes, you know, saying sorry and stuff like that, I basically say that. I say, you know, I don't think that this is going to work again. Like, I appreciate you coming and stuff. And this is like his last day that he's going to be there. So he just fucking loses it. And I'm just going to leave it at that because I don't want to completely, you know, for his sake, just say what he did. Like, I don't have to do that. And I'm just going to share that privately with the counselor and stuff. But he basically loses it. But I did tell my family. I did tell, you know, important people that I know care about my well-being. I did tell them so that they can, you know, just know what happened. But basically, he just trips out and stuff. And at the end of it, he ends up leaving. I haven't spoken to him since. Naturally, of course, because of, you know, how I felt about him and how high the tensions were. Oh, and right after that, I had, like, left to Jamaica, like, right after the situation happened. And I also have a video in my phone of how he was acting because he was tripping, y'all. He was motherfucking tripping. So, I leave, I go to Jamaica, and I just, that's a whole nother situation that I will talk about another time. Oh, shit. I come back, and while I'm in Jamaica, I made a fake account so that I could contact him and let him know how much what he did hurt my feelings, what he said hurt my feelings, and so on and so forth. And he never responded back to it, but I had wrote it on a fake page, and the fake page is gone now. So anyways, I wrote it on a fake page and stuff like that. And, you know, of course, I'm like looking at his gram, I'm looking at his stories, because he doesn't really post on his Instagram. So I'm looking at his stories, and I peeped that he's with somebody else. And in the middle of, towards the ending of him tripping out while he was still here, he had said to me, I will tell y'all this, he had said to me, he was like, oh, I've been signing into your phone to get onto, I've been going onto your phone and signing into Instagram and talking to other people. So it's not going to take me long to move forward from this, Sade. Like, you think, basically, like, you think that you're, like, the best person ever, and you're not, and you're gonna be tight because I'm talking to somebody else. And when I tell y'all, like, I was so caught off guard, like, in that whole time that everything was happening, when he was really tripping out, I really didn't do anything. And where I am in life now, it's really hard for me to react to things. I react to things very, very slowly, and it's because I internalize things a lot, which is also a testament to why, you know, I'm in the space that I'm in, because I don't really, it's hard for me to feel my feelings in the moment. Like, I'll be hit with something, the weight of, like, everything that I experienced at a time that is since months since the situation happened. And it's unfortunate because it really stifles my growth, and it doesn't allow me to be present. And I'm just hoping that in the ending of 2018 going into 2019, that is something that I'll be able to work on and to transform. Sorry, I'm gonna put on my lashes. Sorry if my makeup starts to look a little disheveled. It's because, as I mentioned, I am sick, so I keep, like, putting my tissue, my nose and stuff like that. I need to take this medicine. Hold on 1 second. Give me 1 second, girl. Let me take this Mucinex. Do you fucking hear me? This Mucinex DX. But, you know what's also so funny and so random? I'm actually wearing this shirt that he got me right before, everything was going bad. Like, when he came, he got me this shirt. And I'm not smiling because I'm just like, oh, like, I'm romanticizing, you know, like, who he was. Like, I'm in full, honest to God, like, I really feel like O is not, like, I don't want to say he's not a good person. He's just not a good person for me. But, I'm smiling because I really do like this shirt. And it seems petty that I'm wearing this shirt, but I actually really love this shirt. It's like a shirt that he got from Walmart. And I'm like, this shit is, like, mad cute and mad me and stuff. And let me also just say, like, you know, despite what I'm saying now, like, me and O have definitely had good times. You know, like, I definitely did love him, and I definitely appreciated and will always appreciate all the things that he has done for me. But it's hard to appreciate someone when, you know, a lot of the things that they did that you could appreciate can be countered by a lot of the things that are fucked up, you know? And that's real life, you know? Like, that's some real life shit. Like, even in the Bojack Horseman show, which I love so much, Bojack Horseman is like this self-loathing, mentally ill, and I don't say that loosely, like he is mentally ill, you know, celebrity with status and money and, you know, all this different type of stuff. And in small ways, you could see the good in him, you know, not in small ways, in a lot, and there are ways in which you see the good in him. I'm not going to say it's a lot. I'm not going to say it's few. And you root for him. You root for his better self to shine through. But somehow, some way, you know, the emptiness and the darkness that's in him is the true depth of him. And one thing I also will say about me and my ex, we're both, a lot of what runs in our sign is Scorpio. I had like done our birth charts and stuff like that, and a lot of his sign is Scorpio, and a lot of what's in my sign, in my chart, is Scorpio. And the difference between me and him, as far as like placement goes, and not placement as far as natal chart goes, but placement as in like how like you could experience the same kind of thing in a different way, but like how you react to it is very different. And the thing about, I feel like I'm all over the place, but hopefully you guys will understand. The thing about Pluto is it's a dark planet. It's a dark, dark planet. And I feel like there are two ways to go about darkness, because when there's darkness, there's coldness, for essentially, because there's no sun, there's no warmth. And you could go one of two ways. You could stay in that cold, dark depth, or you could seek warmth. You could seek light. And I feel like where me and my ex are in our journeys of life is really that fork in the road of like, he chose or has been choosing coldness. And he could say the same about me in a lot of ways, you know? I personally feel. But I don't feel that way, but I'm sure this is what he would say. I feel like he chooses darkness, and it's almost like in a habitual sense, where it's just like, hopefully I'm using the word habitual correctly. Now I gotta look it up. Siri, define the word habitual. Yup. Of doing a constant habit. He does it in a habitual sense, and I do it in a very unaware way. And it is not to say that one is right and one is wrong, but once I'm made aware, I am consistent with not repeating those same things. And I think for the fact that he does deal with mental illness, it's hard for him not to run into the same course of a pattern. Whereas when you feel more in control of your choices, you can. And I'm not making excuses for him, but that's really how mental illness has played a part in our relationship. And I know I didn't really intersect into that very well, but, you know, if you do watch the Bojack Horseman show, you'll understand why I'm saying all of what I'm saying. So anyways, yeah. So I go onto his page. Sorry, again, just jumping back into things. I go into his page, and I notice that he's with somebody else and stuff like that, and I'm just like, wow. Now, personally, I don't... Sorry, I need to take this medicine, like, right now. Oh, like a perfectionist. I am so sorry. Y'all seeing me, like, real messed up right now. I don't personally feel... That's what I was going to say. I don't personally feel super sad about it right now. But I don't know how I'm going to feel when I can feel again. You know? And, you know, people say, like, oh, I don't have any feelings, blah, blah, blah. And I think people say that to be angsty. And, like, you know, especially, like, when you're in high school, you say that to be angsty and, like, I don't have any feelings. I'm too cool for that. Baby, if I could get feelings back, that would be the best thing ever, to feel my feelings, to be present. You know, so when I say I don't have no feelings, just know truly, and I say this for myself, you know, I'm like looking at you, Sade, like, you don't have any feelings right now. Like, you're looking at yourself and you don't even feel like you know who you're looking at. And it's the worst thing ever. This is the darkest, hardest thing to face, to experience. You know, and I want to feel what I'm feeling right now too, but I know that I want to cry and it's here, but it doesn't even want to like completely leave. And it's not even from the embarrassment of filming this. It's just, she's not ready. She's just not ready, you know, to feel again. Because everything to me is so sacred and so purposeful. And I feel like people don't know that, you know, that life is this thing that's so purposeful and like can be so pleasant and lovely and sacred. And people don't honor that. And it's very frustrating, you know, to feel, I'm not the only person that feels that way, but to feel like the only person that feels that way. It just kind of feels like, well, if everyone wants to do this fucking cold shit, then why not do it too, you know? You know, and it's like, oh, like, when you vibe higher, you attract your tribe and stuff like that. And it's like, you know, a bitch been vibing for a minute. Where is this tribe? Or maybe, you know, the lesson is that I haven't learned to fully honor the things or the tribe that I do have. You know, you want too much. And it's like, do I want too much or do I just want the best of what I can obtain, you know? And maybe that is like my frustration with myself and just my placement in my chart and just being super Virgo, where it's like I just want perfection, and it's like perfection ain't here on this realm, you know? So I have to stop having this deep desire to have something that doesn't exist here, you know, and just be content with what it is that is here, you know? I hate feeling like I'm ungrateful and stuff, but I feel ungrateful. I don't know how to explain it. Life is weird right now. Life is really weird. And this isn't like the only thing that I'm going through, you know? Like, there's like other like stuff that I'm like experiencing that's like really bothering me. And it's weird because it's like I feel like I don't have a voice for it anymore. These freckles are coming out terrible. It's because I'm not focused. But not terrible, but just not like the best. But I'm just going through so much, and my memory is suffering greatly. There's so much lag and fogginess and unawareness and just so much stuff that's happening that's really not who I was, you know, at my best self, or who I am, you know, at the core of who I am. And it's really, really bothering me. And I'm hoping that, you know, God has a plan for me. But God can only have a plan for you if you make him a part of your plans, or you make, you know, that presence a part of your plans. And I think, you know, as far as spirituality and religion and faithfulness goes, that's a whole thing that I cannot even get into, because I really am too in my head for my own good at times, that it makes it hard for me to be a devout lover of Christ, so to speak. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but you know this energy, because it's like, what is this? Like, what is this person or this entity, you know? And why is it this way and not that way? And why are there so many versions? Like, why is it not so simple? But the thing is, it is simple. And maybe I'm just making it harder than it is, you know? I will say, though, and I think I'm going to end on this, the happiest I've ever been is when I had a relationship with God. And I don't know who God is. I'm going to tell you that right now. I've felt God, but I don't know who God is. And the only way that I can say and feel comfortable about what I just said is that, you know, the way I developed a relationship was like, I've never tried this before. Like, I've never in my adulthood really tried to really create a relationship with you, God. You know? I don't know who you are. I don't know what you're about. But I've tried everything else. I might as well try you too. And that was the happiest I've ever been. So it is a true testament to the fact that there is a higher being, I feel, and there's a higher purpose to, what life is about. And I think why I deviate from that so much is because I don't feel worthy, because I don't invest in the time in trying to figure out who God is. Because there's just too many, like, outlets to him, and I think that's the beauty and the curse of trying to build a relationship, because it's like there are too many, like, sectors. Like, some people say join Christianity, some people say join Islam, some people say join whatever the fuck, and it's like I don't want all this stuff, and I don't want all that stuff because I think I'm so badass. I don't want to be labeled. It's like, I just want you, God. That's all I want. That's all I want. I want God. I want me. I think that's all I want right now. Like, that's all I want. That's like my heart's desire, to know God and to know myself and to get out of whatever I am, this spiritual, soulless limbo that I'm in. Fuck, I feel like I need to fucking pull off a cigarette or something. Anyways, I'm joking. I don't smoke cigarettes. I do smoke a little weed from time to time, though. Anyways, that's it. That's all I gotta say. I appreciate whoever is here listening, whoever listened this far. Y'all know I never asked for really nothing of y'all. And the fact that y'all come, sorry, I always get emotional about this, but the fact that y'all come and y'all share y'all time with me, I value that a lot, very much. I feel like I don't know how to talk, but I value that a lot, and I appreciate you guys, And I appreciate you guys so much, because I feel like someone is gonna say, like, I understand, like, I understand. And I feel like that is the biggest validation, because I feel like I don't understand myself right now. So, and I feel like I don't make any sense. So, peace and love to you guys who are here, who listen, who come across this. I love y'all. And I'm not just saying, like, I love my subscribers. Like, I love whoever is watching this, who needs love. Like, I love you, You're worthy and valuable. And you should know that, And I want you to know that. So, yeah. That's it. Ew, I'm a mess. That's it. Bye.